Dear Joan, I'd like to send you best regards from the CIA headquarters from the small town Ikalinen in Finland. And it's time to congratulate for your birthday. It was already in February, but now it's time to celebrate it. And I wish you happy birthday, good health, lot of friends, love, and happy moments. And last time when we were on the water together, I suppose it was in Fiji, in CIA Winter Congress 2007. Then it was possible to swim in the sea and get some good food from the sea. Also, now it's a little bit different here, but let's try. So, yes, let's see what happens. Maybe here. Hello. Anybody there? Ooh. No. Well, I think no seafood today. Better to go back to Fiji. Happy birthday.
Hi, my name is Betty Jo Simon. I started taking lessons from Joan Cochran when I was 12 years old. I think I'm the oldest student of hers that is still in her accordion ensemble. We go back many years. When I first started with Joan, I was in awe of her because here is a woman who had many wonderful students and an accordion orchestra that won the U.S. championship several times. So I wanted to do my best for her. I hadn't been in accordion orchestra for very long when she put me on bass accordion. At first, I wasn't happy about it, but wow, did that help me learn to read bass clef quickly, and I believe it has helped me to hear bass lines, which has contributed in strengthening my left hand. I can testify to Joan's awesome pedagogical methods. I had 5 years of accordion lessons before I came to Joan. But in 4 short years, she had me playing the Gallerini Concerto No. 1 for accordion and orchestra with the Topeka Civic Symphony. And later that year, I gave a 1-hour concert of classical music, the equivalent to a college senior recital. One of the early pieces she gave me was Dance of the Comedians. She encouraged me to listen to a recording of it over and over until I could play it with the recording. It really helped me to learn interpretation. During my college years, Joan decided to have our accordionaires group audition for the USO, which led to making several USO tours. We not only played, but we learned to sing and dance. What awesome international travels we took. Thank you so much, Joan. Joan has always been a great encourager and given me many opportunities to challenge myself. That's why I'm glad to still be part of the UMKC Accordion Ensemble. It really challenges my technique and musicality. Truly, I can say that where I am today musically is because of Joan. Thank you so much, Joan. Congratulations in celebrating your 90th year. I wish you many more healthy and vibrant years ahead.
Dear Joanne, it really seems unbelievable that we met for the very first time at the Coupe Mondiale in Helsinki 1975, almost 50 years ago. Since then, we have been meeting always every year at international events, and we have always been in touch. It's almost impossible for me to single out individual moments, given all the great locations all over the world we have been able to get to know together. Countless number of memories we have been sharing with each other. Maybe I can highlight some of my visits in Kansas City. 1981 for the Coupe Mondiale, 1990 at the international competition, guest performance of the Bayan Orchestra of the Russian Knesset Academy. 1998, I was on the round the world tour with my wife Sylvia, and of course we couldn't fly past Kansas City, but we were allowed to spend some memorable evenings together with your husband Paul. There was also an encounter with your mentor, Anthony Gallerini, and his wife Dolly. And now, for the first time, in the occasion of your 90th anniversary celebration. A philosopher wrote, what counts in life is that what you have been experiencing together. And I think we have been experiencing quite a lot of different kind of situations. I remember Max Bonnet's concert at the Coupe Mondiale back in '81. His instrument was broken on his trip. He was able to play only a few pieces that he was also able to play on the instrument of his French compatriot, Alain Musichini, who was winner of the Coupe Mondiale, by the way. Alain was supposed to perform the first part of the concert and Max the second one. In his program, Max had Gubertolina's De Profundis. Now it's a classic work in the accordion repertoire, but in those days, this piece was performed for the very first time in the USA with its then revolutionary playing methods like tone glissando, cluster, vibrato, and so on. Somebody had to explain the content and also the displaying methods to the public. Thank you so much that you were entrusting me with this very responsible task. After all, it turned out quite well, and the concert was a complete success. Dear Joanne, thank you so much for everything. I'm really looking forward to hugging you again in Kansas City in the end of July. Have a great day. Thank you.
Congratulations, Joanne, on this magnificent celebration in your honor. I arrived from New Zealand as a UMKC freshman in 1980. Decades later, you still serve as an inspiration to us all. Your boundless energy, enthusiasm, and expertise towards all things accordion has contributed greatly to the advancement and respect that the accordion has achieved in the general music world. An avid supporter of all aspects of the accordion, your work has included establishing the program and teaching at UMKC, arranging countless works for accordion orchestra and other mediums, commissioning and inspiring many new works for the accordion, adjudicating, presenting seminars and conducting worldwide, and supporting numerous organizations such as the Confederación Internacional des Accordionistas, the CIA. In 1955, Joanne was the first USA representative to the Coupe Mondiale World Accordion Championships. She went on to support and promote the accordion on the international level by inspiring her own students to compete internationally, serving in leadership roles, founding the World Accordion Orchestra, and representing the USA globally. In appreciation for her life's work, the CIA awarded Joanne honorary membership upon her retirement from office. To this day, a highlight for me has been my participation in the magnificent UMKC Accordion Orchestra and Ensemble. 45 years after joining the group, I'm still humbled and awed to be sitting on stage alongside my longtime accordionist friends from UMKC and beyond, performing under Joanne's direction. Joanne continues to serve as an inspiration to us all, continually challenging us to be better each day as we strive for excellence in everything we do, something she also demands of herself. Joanne, congratulations on your 90th birthday celebration in recognition of your lifelong dedication to the accordion. I've already penciled in the dates for 2034, when we look forward to celebrating your 100th.
Oh boy, Joanne. Oh boy, Joanne. Oh boy, Joanne, I'm your biggest fan. Come on over just as quick as you can. I'm your biggest fan. Oh boy, Joanne. Oh boy, Joanne. Oh boy, Joanne. Oh boy, Joanne, I'm your biggest fan. Come on over just as quick as you can, 'cause I'm your biggest fan. Oh boy, Joanne, you're a powerful woman. Yeah, you're a powerful lady. You're a powerful woman. Oh boy, Joanne. Oh boy, Joanne. Oh boy, Joanne, I'm your biggest fan. Come on over just as quick as you can. I'm your biggest fan. Oh boy, Joanne. Happy birthday, Joanne.
I'm Kathy Blasco, and many years ago, I was an accordion performance major studying with Joanne. I learned early on, I might add the hard way, that you never schedule your private accordion lesson with Joanne the same day as an accordion symphony rehearsal, especially if you had a less than stellar lesson. You never did that more than once. Joanne was tough. There is no question about that. Her strict discipline was the best training anyone could ask for. She made you want to be the best you that you could be. Anyone who studied with her didn't just learn music. You learned many life lessons too. Time management, self-discipline, courage, grace under fire, humility. Her training helped me to get through some of the biggest challenges in my life. So thank you, Joanne, for all your invaluable contributions. We celebrate you, not just for your 90 years, but for giving us the best you that you could be. Congratulations and much love.
My first memory of Joanne was in the late 50s, early 60s, when the AAA had a concert at Carnegie Hall in Manhattan. And I was part of a student orchestra at that concert. And Joanne played a solo and conducted an orchestra. Wow, was she great. And the next day I went to the music school where I studied, and I asked my teacher, I says, Tony Yator, who was this lady who played so great and so beautiful she was? He said, oh, that's Joan Cochran. Even then, her beauty stunned everybody. Last year in Pennsylvania, AAA had its festival, and they asked Joanne to conduct the festival orchestra. And when people heard that Joanne was conducting that orchestra, they came in droves. They wanted to play under her baton. And truly she does a great job. That same festival, Joanne and I had a chance to have a breakfast, just the two of us, and we're talking about old times and about people in the accordion. And finally we came and had a few laughs about some of the accordion characters that we both knew. And it was just really, really wonderful. And Joanne, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. And I have to say that happy 90th birthday, and your beauty, your musical talent and grace is so awe-inspiring. Thank you so much.
Dear Joanne, happy birthday. I wish you many productive years to come, and you always have been inspiration to all of us. Can't wait to see you at ATG very soon.
Hi, I'm Nancy Officer. I'm Joanne's sister and one of 4 siblings. Joanne came first, then my brother John. Carol Jean was next, and 12 years after her, I came along. So I was too young to be in the first Pace family ensemble. Carol Jean played the steel guitar, my brother the upright string bass, Joanne the accordion. I'd almost guarantee you the ensemble was Joanne's idea, and that she was leader of the band even back then. I don't remember a lot about Joanne until I was around 5, and by then she was married to Cecil Cochran, her accordion teacher. Before then, family lore is that Joanne always got out of doing the dishes because Joanne always had to practice. She spent some time in the kitchen because she became an excellent cook, as has her daughter, Kathy. When Kathy was growing up, Paul and Joanne, that's Paul Sommers, Joanne's late husband and Kathy's father, Paul and Joanne entertained friends, family, and colleagues with elaborate multi-course dinner parties. You still find stacks of gourmet magazines among the stacks of sheet music in Joanne's house. One more personal note. Joanne's first husband passed away when I was about 14, and Joanne and I spent a lot of time together over the next couple of years. Some weekends we would go out to eat in very nice restaurants. So in addition to teaching me how to play the accordion, instilling in me a love for music, giving me the chance at the conservatory to meet people who have become lifelong friends, and the opportunity to travel and see the world on 2 USO tours, Joanne also introduced me to the little pleasure of dining out. Thank you, Joanne. I love you.
Well, this is where it all began for me, my lifetime of experiences with Joan Sommers. This is Epperson Hall. This is where the accordion department was when I came here in 1976. They said it was haunted by spirits. I never experienced any spirits here other than the wonderful spirit of the accordion department and the marvelous spirit and energy of Joan Sommers. So this is the entrance to the accordion department. If you look to the right, these windows are the very windows where we practiced, and just beyond that is where Joan Sommers' office was. We would wait just inside there for our lessons, and my memory of those lessons is incredible. The first thing you would do in a lesson is Joanne would say, "How many hours?" And you'd have to tell her how many hours you practiced. And if you made something up that wasn't true, she knew, obviously, because your performance wasn't going to be what it should be, had you really practiced those hours. Going up these stairs and inside a different door, this is where we went in to have orchestra rehearsal. And there was a beautiful grand ballroom up there where we had our rehearsals. There, I vividly remember Joanne coming up to me and pulling on my bellows because I wasn't playing loud enough. So I learned how to play louder. This was the entrance to Joanne's office where all the magic happened. We learned how to play the accordion. We also learned some life lessons. My lessons learned and memories formed in this building are lifelong. Joanne, as a teacher, was demanding and strict. She encouraged you to work to the very best of your ability. She encouraged you to succeed. Joanne did not coddle, but she knew how to get from you, at least me, what needed to be done. I know that's true for so many other people, as I have heard people speak at other events. So the amount of lives that Joanne Soomers has impacted, I'm sure, is not even countable. Joanne, I'm extremely grateful for what I have learned from you. I'm grateful for our lifelong relationship, for our continuing celebrations, and I am happy for this event to celebrate you. Joanne, thank you for being you.
I met Joan many years ago in Orlando, Florida, but we became really friends in Chicago, and then much more when we spent a wonderful week on January 2007 at the Winter Congress in Nagigia, Fiji Islands. A winter congress with 35 degrees, in shorts and on the beach. I was really pleased to discover the capability of Joan to be always ready for any adventure during those days with her permanent smile. It is useless to speak about Joan in the musical and accordion fields. We had so many cooperations with CIA and ATG festivals that I cannot remember all of them. But what I have very clear in my mind is the positive approach she had in every single moment, in all difficult moments we experienced during the years, always constructive and ready to encourage me and everybody else. In particular, we had a great time in Spoleto, 2012, when for the first time I organized the Coupe Mondiale. About this time, I would like to recall a memory that I'm sure Joan remembers very well. Joan was flying alone from the US to Roma airport, arriving in the early morning, and she was supposed to find the train to arrive to Spoleto. I was crazy with the organization, but when the night before I was going to sleep around 3 a.m., I had in my mind the image of Joan in the Fiumicino airport after a long flight. So I took a shower and I drove to Roma. When Joan came out, I saw her for the first time without smile and worried where to go to find the trains. When she saw me, big hug, and she said, "You cannot understand how I am happy to see you here." By the way, since I know Joan, I speak about Spoleto, my hometown, very often. So I wanted to record my video here in the Spoleto Duomo Square. So, dear Joan, my best wishes and see you very soon.
In the winter of 2013, we held what I thought was going to be our last Frank Morocco / Mesa accordion event. Frank had passed, and we had a tribute camp to him in the winter of 2013, and Stas was our wonderful conductor. It was a great camp. That was it. Hopefully we were going to spend the next winter in Florida. And I got a call a few days after camp ended from Stas. He says, "Oh, come on, got to run one more camp." I'm like, "Oh, No, I'm going to Florida next year. He says, yeah, but Joan, the camps are so much fun. And you know, Joan Sommers is turning 80 next February. Yeah, that's right, she is. He said, why don't we invite Joanne, celebrate her birthday, and she can conduct a few numbers, and come on, one more camp. And I thought, all right, I'll check with Joanne, see what she thinks. I guess I could give up Florida for one more winter for Joanne. So she was so excited. It was immediately put down on the calendar in ink. And working with Stas and Joanne that year to produce the 2014 Mesa accordion event was a total blast. She was a delight to work with from start to finish. It was the best ending we could have possibly imagined for that 8-year run of the camp. And one little thing stands out that has nothing to do with accordions or anything, but that Joanne did that was just so delightful. The camp started on Valentine's Day, and Joanne had asked me about a week earlier how many people were coming total, not just accordionists. Accordionists were like 62, and total I think we had 95 people. She showed up with 95 Valentines for all of us. And went around herself and put them at all the dinner tables. So she was just terrific, and she still is, and we love her.
So did you have to turn in hours? And
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the first thing at every lesson, turning in hours.
Did
How many
she have
hours?
that? There was a framed piece of paper, kind of a letter. It was handwritten, I believe, and it was a little story about two men were attempting to climb a mountain, and just before they reached the summit, they paused to rest, and while resting, died.
Oh.
And I thought that was kind of a morbid, I mean, you know, it's kind of a dark story, but it kind of describes Joanne. She doesn't ever rest.
No.
She always has the perseverance to push through whatever she's doing.
Even in Europe, when she got COVID, you know, she went forward and finished judging that competition. She didn't know she had COVID, of course, but she knew she wasn't feeling well, you know. But she was not going to not finish that judging responsibility, you know.
There was a period of time in rehearsals when she would, we'd be rehearsing and we'd be going along, and she said, she stopped. Why are you making that mistake? Just don't do it. Don't make mistakes. And I've kind of carried that through my whole life. And just, you know, perfectionist. Not that I'm anywhere close to Joanne, but, you know, just kind of keep that way of thinking.
Right.
Just don't make those mistakes, you know.
Well, I am obviously the youngest one in the crew.
Thanks for pointing that out.
By far. But I do feel like I have grown up with all of you, most of you, which has been, I don't think many people can say that they, you know, at my age have gone to rehearsal on Thursday night since they were maybe 11 years old. So, yeah, it's been a journey, and I love all of you, and I love Joanne, and obviously she's had a huge impact on my life. I think the maybe longest sabbatical I've had from accordion is like when I was in college, but I knew I always would want to come back. I feel like she's made my appreciation for music grow even mostly in my adulthood.
Well, Sam may be the youngest person here, starting with Joanne, but I started with her in 1961. I was 12 years old. she had just gotten the accordion accepted at the conservatory. She had proved that the accordion could be studied seriously, and I had taken 2 lessons when they had their studio on Main Street, and then we moved into the conservatory. And you know where the old Grant Hall was? Right across the street was this old house, one of those big mansion houses, and we had the whole basement. And she had a platform for the orchestra. We had 50 people in the orchestra. And here, I'm looking at this woman and I'm going, oh my God, she's, you know, so famous. She has all these famous students, and the UMKC, well, it wasn't even UMKC. The accordion orchestra had won the U.S. championship several times. And so I'm really at 12, you know, kind of scared.
Well, and let's talk about all the cool places that all of us have been, because Joanne has taken us all on concert
All
tours.
over the world.
And it's been amazing places. When I tell people that I've been to Russia, they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, and it was like not really open. Like it had just barely opened.
Oh, wasn't open
to
then?
It really wasn't
No,
open.
Not till
Yeah.
1990, so it was at
Yeah.
89.
Like, I mean, she's just given us so many opportunities.
In '62, we played in Carnegie Hall, part of the AAA Festival. And in '64, we played at the World's Fair in New York. On the campus there were the festival grounds, and not only did we give a concert there, but they put us in those sky gondolas, and we were playing above everybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that was
That would be
fantastic. Yeah, but '67 was our first USO tour. We went to Greenland, Newfoundland, and Labrador for a month, and they had to issue us parkas because it was so cold up there. And of course, she wouldn't let us wear slacks at all. We had to wear skirts, and in those days, the skirts were a little high, so our legs froze. But we had these parkas to keep us warm. And that was a fabulous trip. Pea Mountain, and they would fly us over to a Coast Guard. Took 2 helicopters, 2 trips to get over to this Coast Guard station. And everywhere we went and played, they served us steak. And every night we'd dance at the Officers Club. I lost 5 pounds on that 1 month just because we were dancing so much. But there's no women up there, so there were 12 girls and 2 guys. And boy, we were treated like royalty. And then the next USO tour we did was Germany, which you were on that one. 8 weeks in Germany. We started in Frankfurt and just literally went around and back. And they gave us 2 weeks free time so we could go anywhere we wanted in Europe. And then we met back in Frankfurt and flew back home together.
Well, the one I was on, we spent 11 weeks touring the Orient, Korea, Japan, Okinawa, Taiwan, Philippines, and Guam, and they paid us $10 a day. That was more than enough to cover our on-base hotels, and we didn't have to buy many meals or drinks because we were American girls, and there are lots of guys wanting to meet American girls over there. So it was
And she's funny, like you're talking about, you know, her different demanding standards and everything. And about just do it, you know, like don't make a mistake, just play it right. And she's the same with like excuses. Oh, well, you know, this happened this week. Oh, that's a great excuse. And then she'll say, that's even a really, really good excuse. If they wrote a book of excuses, that'd be #1 in the list. But it's just an excuse now, do it. And it's true. So you just kind of, but the thing is, she demands it of herself, like we've all said, and that's what's so inspiring, that she doesn't just try and challenge us, she's right there leading the way, which is just really, really inspiring. It's, we love it.
comes to mind Amy Hatfield, and she was late to rehearsal or something, and Joanne said, well, why were you late? And she says, well, my horse was sick. And Joanne looked at her like, well, I've never heard that one before. I won't say the best thing, but one of the things that no one can really believe we had to do before the USO tour, at the time, let's say I was eating chocolate bars, and a lot was quite a bit heavier than I am now, but several of the girls in the group were, and she decided we needed to weigh in before rehearsal every Wednesday. So she had a scale in her office, and we would start starving ourselves Monday night, not eat much until, and we asked, can we weigh in early so we could go out and get something to eat before rehearsal?
I still remember the funny night we were in Chicago also, and we're having the party like we always do at the end of the ATG Festival, and Gallerini wasn't there. So Joanne said, oh, but Tony should come down and have a drink with us. And have. So I said, oh, okay, he'd already gone off to bed and everything. So down comes Gallerini, but he was still now he's in his robe and everything, in his pajamas. He said, why should I change? I'm just coming down, I know you also. Anyway, so that was fine. So he stays with us and he has a drink and everything. So then both Joanne and Tony decide they're going to leave at the same time, they've both done. So they get to the elevator and they hop in, and so Tony's in his nightgown and Joanne's in her finest best, and Joanne goes, well, that was really fun. Yeah, that was a great night, thank you. And these couple look like, whoa.
I remember her talking about doing those lessons with like 500 Chinese students at one time. I mean, she's done so many amazing things.
She started an accordion orchestra over there like 1988. She went over there and she took a bass accordion with her. And she had like 200 students, and she was just, I'm sure, in heaven. And she was so humid, she had to take a shower cap, cut the elastic off to keep her hair from kind of just melting on her, and just sound like she was just in heaven with all the first accordion orchestra in China.
Wow.
In the World Accordion Orchestra, right? Didn't she initially
started that.
Yeah.
She founded that, so we've had maybe 8 or 10 editions of that in various countries around the world, where, again, she doesn't do things by half. So first of all, she gets this massive group of 120 plus people, but then she'll go to the extra length of like commissioning composers to write pieces for us, to find new repertoire. She did the video games live. It was the cutting edge technology with that, like the Hollywood Bowl was doing with the film behind the, just right out there in front of everything. And yeah, and it's so great because and we'll do it this summer again.
Yeah.
When we're playing with her, just to look up there from the orchestra at her, she's just, it's what she's made for.
Hi, my name's Ed Blasco, and I've known Joan Soomers ever since I was 11 years old. That's a long time, almost 63 years. And when I started with Joan, she used to have 2 orchestras. One was the little band, which you started out in, and the other one was the big accordion symphony, which everyone aspired to be in. And I started in the little band, of course, and moved up fairly quickly to the accordion orchestra. And when I got to the orchestra, I noticed that there were 2 instruments that were played by very special people called electroniums. And they were incredible instruments for the time. This was back in the early 1960s. The electronium was a Hohner instrument that was basically a synthesizer. It was monophonic, meaning that it plays one note at a time. But it was very convincing on sounds like trumpets and trombones and things like that. So it really augmented the sound of the group quite nicely. Well, Joan taught me, be careful what you wish for, because I really wanted to play the electronium. And lo and behold, within a couple of years, there was an opening, and Joan said, all right, come play the electronium. And I learned how to tune it and all of that kind of stuff. And it was a hot seat. Oh my gosh. I played the electronium probably for maybe as much as 4 or 5 years. And all I can think of is the story in the Bible where it says, Mary rode Joseph's ass all the way to Bethlehem. Well, Joan rode me. I'll tell you what, that was tough. And it was funny, one Thursday night at Symphony, back when I was a college freshman, Joanne gave this very eloquent talk because I had made it known to many other members of the symphony I didn't want to play the electronium anymore. It was way too much of a hot seat. So Joanne gave this very eloquent speech about, if you don't want to play a part or you want to do something different, don't tell your neighbors about it. Come talk to me. And just went on and on and on and on. And I thought, oh boy, everybody knew she was talking about me. So anyhow, at the end of this very eloquent and pointed speech, I might add, she said, does anyone want to change the parts they are playing and not play what they are playing? Of course, I raised my hand. Okay, inquiring minds want to know what happened after you raised your hand and said you didn't want to play electronium anymore. Well, I'll tell you what happened. After a couple of weeks, I didn't play electronium anymore. But the thing is, that kind of set me up for a lifetime of music. Joanne, you just don't know how much you helped me through the years without even knowing what you've done. You gave me a love for electronic instruments. And with that love for electronic instruments, I got very involved in the piano and organ industry, particularly the organ side of things. And I sold them at retail for, probably over 30 years. And I traveled for Yamaha Corporation as a concert artist, product specialist. And I was able to travel all over the United States and got to Japan and did some fun things, all because of my love of electronic instruments. A fun thing that I got to do was to go on a cruise. My wife and I were on a cruise and with friends of ours, and my friend says, I want to introduce you to Mr. Ataro Kakahashi, the founder of the Roland Corporation International. So I got to meet Mr. K, and what a wonderful man he was. Anyhow, we talked and talked and talked, and he found out I played accordion. Then we talked a whole lot more, that cruise. And he told me about a new exciting digital accordion he was coming out with very soon. Well, I thought, wow, I've got to have one of those. So anyway, this is the third Roland digital accordion that I've bought. And I don't buy them because I wear them out, unfortunately. I buy them because they keep having new features that I think I need. Don't know why I need them because I don't play them very much. Anyhow, they're there if I want them. I guess that's the whole point. But Joanne, it's all because of you. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you have done for me throughout my life. You just don't realize how many life lessons you taught through the years. And I just have one more thing to say. I want you to have the happiest birthday ever. Happy 90th birthday, and here's to the next 90. Why not?
In our accordion history, we have some generation who was done a lot. I think we can speak in 20th century, in the second half of century, we can speak about Mogensregard, about Vladimir Lev Pukhtovsky, Frank Morocco, Art Van Dam, Yuri Kazakov. And I think one of the most important person is, of course, Professor Joan Cochran Soomers. Dear Joan, I'm very glad to congratulate you with your celebrity. I remember our first meeting. It was in Holland, 1987, during the Coupe Mondiale. And then you invite me to Kansas City with concerts, with masterclass. We invite you with your accordion orchestra in Moscow. Our orchestra was played also in Kansas City. It was so friendly, so big friendship. I think it was one of the best moments in our life. I wish you the best, and I wish you to be in health. Your Friedrich Lips.
What can I say about the incomparable Joan Cochran Soomers? That hasn't been said many times over the last several decades. As a performer, arranger, conductor, I've been an admirer since we met almost 30 years ago. She adjudicated me, eventually some of my own students, and more recently, the extremely humbling notion that she and I could be adjudicators at some of the very same festivals. I'm honored to be a colleague in several ways, but of course, Joan remains a mentor figure to me. In particular, what I've learned from her as an educator. Of course, Joan has the musical ability to teach, we all know this, but it's the way that she connects with people is what's most fascinating to me. I've been able to perform with the last few ATG Festival orchestras, and at every rehearsal, I just tried to be a sponge watching Joan work. Unsurprisingly, she knew just how hard to lead the group, being tough enough to push to bring the best out of each player, but warm enough to make everyone feel like we were all part of the same team. During one of the rehearsals, I remember basically being overcome with emotion, feeling like I was watching Picasso himself paint as I witnessed Joan flexing her musical muscles and her leadership muscles to lead the entire group. Again, in terms of connecting, during a recent conversation, Joan asked me, "So Frank, we first met in 1995 in Houston at the AAA Festival honoring Bill Palmer, right?" And my first thought was, how could you possibly remember this? I was just a teenager at the time. But age doesn't really matter when you're able to connect with people the way Joan does. So Joan, thank you for all you've done for me, for my entire family, for accordionists everywhere, and I'm so pleased to offer you my fondest birthday wishes here. Thank you.
Hi, Liz Finch here, and I've been asked to say a few words about Joan Cochran Soomers, and to be brief. Behind me on my piano are memories that point to what I think stands out as one of the most important accomplishments by Joan. In 1964, I was 15 years old and part of the 55-piece accordion orchestra led by Joan that traveled from Kansas City to New York City to participate in the Cavalcade for Accordions sponsored by the American Accordionists Association for the New York World's Fair. In this orchestra, the youngest member was 9 years old, but most of the members were teenagers. There were 7 sets of siblings, the Finch sisters being one of them. So there were many more students and more orchestras to follow, of course. So why do I think this is important? I think this is important because of Joan's positive impact in providing a solid musical foundation to so many young people that would enable them to appreciate music for the rest of their lives. And also, by encouraging a high standard of excellence, she also, perhaps unknowingly, instilled some qualities that could be applied to other endeavors in their lives. In this photograph in the 1964 newspaper article about the orchestra, it shows members of the group of the orchestra gathered around a tape recorder listening to a recording from a rehearsal. And it says, I quote, "Trained by Mrs. Cochran to be self-critical, they are quick to note flaws in their performance and eager to correct them. Indeed, that was true and the case. And that was Joanne. She was and still continues to be a role model for so many. So on behalf of all those young, impressionable kids over the years, I say, thank you, Joanne.
One of my first memories of meeting Joanne Sommers was when I was about 15 and at the Las Vegas Accordion Convention. And I watched Alexander Sebastian do the most amazing concert, and I was sitting by Joanne and said, how do I play those pieces? Where do I even find those pieces? And she said, oh, I can send them to you. And she mailed me this huge envelope with things like Asturias, that I still play to this day. And there was the Cacciaturian Toccata, which I remember she said to me, you're not quite ready to play that, you'll have to wait a little while. And then there was the Rachmaninoff Italian polka. And Monastery of Fahrenport, and so many other pieces that were very important for me to become aware of and play. So I'm so grateful for that. Joanne, your energy is so inspiring. It's infectious. Thank you for being you, and a very happy birthday.
Dear Joan, I cannot find really the best words to express my admiration of your personality, your activity, your fantastic conductor, outstanding, maybe even sometime outflying. I appreciate so much your opinion about art, about everything what exists in music, what is connected with our favorite instrument, accordion and bayan. I wish you, I hope you will continue your fantastic activity. Your art make very strong influence all over the world, and especially in America. This country need now support, and you do this very fine. So best wishes, good health, and I hope you will find new ideas. What about age? It's something not about you, because perhaps you look in your passport not so often, so numbers and what you are now, it's not the same. So best wishes. Our faculty, everybody send you best regards, congratulations, and we love you, and hope see you not so long time in future.